Welcome to Charmed Life, a radio show discussing spirituality, magic, and the unconditional love of the universe. Thanks for tuning in. And I am your host, Tricia Carr. Thank you for joining me on this beautiful winter morning. We are broadcasting live from the Universal Broadcasting Network studios in the Sunset Gower Studios building in Hollywood, California. You'd think I'd figure it out how to say it pretty smoothly since I say it almost every week. And hello to Jarvis Essex, my producer. And I'm so excited about today's show. It is the perfect time, but it's also quite an evergreen topic. But before I get to that and my amazing guest, I want to tell you just about a couple of things. I know it's the time of year when we're really looking inside and we are introspecting and we want to make plans for the next year. So I have a couple of things to tell you about. First is a class that I'm actually teaching next weekend, a week from yesterday. So this is going to be live on December 16th and 17th, 2017. If you are listening to this in an archive, this class is actually available on my website anyway, so you can still find it. So the class is called Meet and Work with Your Elemental Guides. Your elemental guides are the spirit guides, the spirits of nature and other etheric realms. We think a lot about the spirit guides being past loved ones and masters like Jesus and the Buddha and Saint Germain. And we also think of the angels and the archangels, and that is all very true. And I think the reason that we prioritize that is because culture and religion have kept us in remembrance of that, which is awesome. However, we have other spirit guides who are working with us very closely, and they're in more requisite realms, so to speak, the dimensions that are close to us, the dimensions of nature, and also of other kinds of dimensions, animals that were ascended who used to live here, like unicorns and dragons. I kid you not. These are not just the stuff of fairy tales. They're the stuff of fairy tales because they are real, and they actually work very closely with us with manifestation and things like abundance, because they work with and they take care of the earth. So they want those with the biggest hearts for compassion and unity to have more of the kinds of material aspects, because as we know, as we can observe, that is actually what is changing this planet from one way of negativity or another way of positivity and health. And so this is actually, you can be in direct contact with these guides. It's pretty powerful the way that they work. I posed as sort of a challenge. It was more of a challenge to myself about a week ago. And I thought, well, wait a minute. I'm hearing them say that they really work with manifestation and abundance and everything. Well, if that's true, then I should be seeing some weird stuff happening or some cool stuff happening. And it did. Crazy things started happening with my business and opportunities in my life, resources, freedom, and also just inner work that I had been, being able to move out anxiety that I had been dealing with, some kind of heavy stuff. That's all been working as I've been preparing for this class. So I hope you guys will join me. You have two ways to be able to engage in this class. You can either go to my website, which is triciacarcharm.com, triciacarcharm.com/elementals. But if you are in the Lightworkers Lab, and hello to the Lightworkers Lab, by the way, we do broadcast directly to the Lightworkers Lab, an online spiritual community hosted on Facebook, founded by Crystal Ann Compton. And the Lightworkers Lab members, I do invite everyone who's listening to Charmed Live to please join the Lightworkers Lab. It is a beautiful, sacred community. But if you are already a member of the Lightworkers Lab, or if you want to join the lab and then join my class, go to thelightworkerslab.com/elementals. This is how you can sign up for this class, which is next week, 2-day class. And if you can't join us live, you're going to have access to the content for a full year. It's going to be an amazing time, and I really hope that you'll join your energy to it. Another thing I want to tell you all about is a couple of other programs that my colleagues are doing. One is Hillary Michaels, medium Hillary Michaels, who was on my show just this past month. She's going to be on in a week or so, and she has open spots for her online medium mentorship program. So go to happycentric.com for Hillary, or you can look up the Los Angeles School for Spiritual Arts for her amazing program to develop your mediumship skills. As Hillary teaches, everyone is a medium, and her program is a fantastic educational source and a coaching program, really. I also want to tell you about Estes Energetics. This is a colleague of mine whose name is Carissa Moore. Carissa's also been on the show, and she has amazing screaming deals for the holiday season, just for the rest of this month. So go to Estes Energetics. She does crystal therapy and other kinds of intuitive work. Her coaching program, her energetic coaching program, highly recommend. I did it, changed my life. that's the end of the things I want to share with you guys. And now I'm very excited to get into our topic today. And my special guest is the amazing, the luminous, the powerful spirit channel and intuitive wellness coach, Lauren Antuofermo. Hi, Lauren.
Hi. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you? You look beautiful.
Well, thanks.
Lauren and I are both moderators and teachers, guides in the Lightworkers Lab. Lauren is the manager of the Lightworkers Lab. How has that been going?
I've been.
Oh, it's Mercury retrograde. Lauren is pausing.
Work as the team. I love our team there too. We have hold such a, like you're saying, such a sacred space, such a loving space for the people there. It's really a pleasure. And so I really love it. Yeah.
We just benefit from your guardianship, with your leadership. I'm so excited to continue to work with you. And you and I are actually going to be doing a live teaching this coming week in the Lightworkers Lab on Thursday evening. But you guys, this community is amazing. We do live free teaching like every night of the week, live free readings every night of the week. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And it's not just anybody. I mean, the
right.
people that come up, the teachers, they're vetted, they're experienced, they're professionals, been doing this forever. So, it's an abundance of resources in this community, and we keep it as high vibe as possible. We have all kinds of resources there, and plus the classes, the free classes, the free mini readings, and then you have availability to the deeper work. Like you're doing I love the idea of the elementals class, the guardians, because and as usual, we're very in sync. I've been working on Earth. We're at this time in like vibrationally, whatever's going on, that we're connecting to the spirituality of the Earth.
Yes.
Not just the higher chakras and, angels and everything, but us as spiritual beings, part of the spiritual Earth. It's not just we're in this human suit. We're connecting to Earth in a spiritual way too. And so I think that your class comes at a very important time. And I think for light workers that may be having trouble grounding or with security, safety, abundance, your class would be a really good class too. In my current class called Body of Light,
yes.
It's a group coaching thing, and we're doing the same thing, starting from the ground up with the base chakra and feeling that connection, that spiritual connection to the Earth, and then working our way up. So.
Yes. And it's interesting. We observe with one another, like Lauren and I, she'll be teaching something and we're too busy to watch each other's stuff sometimes. So then we come back around. We both have taught something in the lab or somewhere. And then we're like, oh my gosh, we're basically saying the same thing right now. Spirit, it's really amazing. But it's not only with Lauren and me, although we always seem to be working in tandem. And I just find it a complete validation now. I'm like, oh, good. I'm getting it right. Lauren's
right?
teaching it too.
I feel the same way. I'm like, okay, good.
Right. I heard it right. But what I got from recently, we all started sort of feeling that message about Gaia connection, about Earth connection, about grounding. And I can't really articulate it. It's an image, but my guides kind of show me that what the spiritual experience about as a human is about bringing in that high vibe, but also bringing up, and it's this work of putting the two together that is actually the kind of hard work, or what is the intense work is the better way to say it. Now, hard sounds pejorative. It's really the intense work. And, we tend to, when we get into this, we're really amazed by the signs and wonders. And we're amazed by the exposure to spirit, because we had been living in just this social convention, which was very strangulating. But what really we do then is ground that experience. And I think that's pretty cool, that way to lead into our topic today, because Mercury retrograde is upon us at the time of this recording of this show today on December, what is today? 10th, 2017. But we have we had four this year, 4 periods of Mercury retrograde every year. And Lauren is also an expert in astrology, although she doesn't say that about herself. She's shy to say that. She is an expert about astrology. So let's first.
It's like the science of spirit. It's an energy and it's a tool, just like everything. But it's it's amazing and fascinating. You can never stop learning about astrology. You can study it your whole lifetime and still learn and discover new things.
Well, let's tell people what Mercury retrograde is in case it's their first time hearing this, or, sometimes though people have been exposed to it for a while and they're like, I don't even really know what it is, except that you're supposed to like hide under your bed for 3 weeks.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh no, communication. Okay. Well, Mercury is the planet of thought. When you think of Mercury, you think of to think. It's learning, communication, the way we communicate, and it affects us in our birth charts. And overall, the theme of Mercury is about the way we communicate, expression, and thought and thinking. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's inquisitive. The sign of Gemini, Mercury rules the sign of Gemini, and Gemini, that they're learners, communicators, they're about language, they learn quickly, they speak, they teach, so they are associated. When Mercury goes retrograde, it's not that the planet actually starts spinning backwards, but relative to Earth, it looks like that. And so when that happens, Mercury is fast. You think of air, you think of thinking, you think quick pace. It's a quick-paced planet. And when it slows down, you will notice it. When you slows down and it goes backwards, it's something that we notice profoundly. And you may think, like, it's not that communications don't go wrong at other times during the year, but it just seems like things get a little bit more tripped up around Mercury. It's a slowing down. It's a looking at the details, and it's also retrograde. You think of going over the past, going over the past. And the fact that this Mercury retrograde happens at the end of the year, also at the super full moon, and happen the same day, we're going over a lot of emotional energy, getting rid of negative thought patterns or reviewing thought patterns before we go into the new year. And so you're in review mode. And it's really about you catching details and an ability before things start going forward again to catch any mistakes or to make any revisions that you want to make before going forward.
I'm laughing because of what happened this morning. Not only this morning, but was it day before yesterday, when I was putting out the notice about this show online, and I tagged Lauren in it, and Lauren like messages me right away and said, "Girl, you got to change the title," because I had on it a title from the past because I, used a template from another one, and so. It happened twice though. I also accidentally scheduled it for the wrong day when I publicized it. And so I think that's hilarious. Like you said, it's also about going over the past, reviewing it before you go forward, which is what I did not totally do. But but the blessing of it is that it forced us to communicate, to pay attention to each other, to look in one another's eyes, and to take care of each other. And so it helps that relational kind of stuff. And I think it's a really beautiful way to look at it, right?
It really is, because sometimes people will get miscommunicated. So a lot of miscommunications will go on during Mercury retrograde. But what it does is kind of bring out any issues that were going unspoken or unrecognized. And so we got the chance to really, yes, definitely connect and get grounded. Like a little bit nervous about coming on. And I saw you and you're like, okay, she's on it. We're connected. We're making that connection. So it forced us, like you said, to make that connection.
Yeah.
And so it's never really a bad thing. We will get periods where we're not making sense to one another. And when that happens a lot in our relationships, it means to scale back a little bit and look within at yourself and what's going on within, and then come back to communicating. So if you're finding that you're not getting, somebody's not getting you, or somebody else is trying to communicate something to you, and it just feels like you just can't get there, fall back for a little bit, reflect a little time, take it slow, and then come back to the conversation. And you can really be, the clarity that can come in as a result of this period is usually kind of profound. Like I said, we're going over a lot of things over the past year, not just the past weeks. For me, it's about abundance. My thought patterns and feelings that are usually blocking me from believing in abundance have been coming up for a lot of review for me. And it's consistent every day. I'm focused upon, all different kinds of things coming up on when I walk on Facebook, when I talk to other people. It's really about groundedness and feeling good in the earth energy, because that's a theme like we just talked about. And so fixing any patterns associated with that. So that may be the theme that we're all going through right now, is being grounded and feeling safe and secure, and seeing what thought patterns or beliefs may need adjusting before we go forward. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And as I mentioned when I was talking about my elemental class, for me, it's been anxiety, and anxiety just generalized in a way, but it always, the first place it wants to find something is career. And before I can move, and I recognize, because I've done it before I can move forward to new opportunities and bigger stuff, I don't want to take that anxious way of being about it, because it's just going to be bigger. If I have a bigger opportunity and I take this anxiety with me, this thought and feeling habit, it's just going to be uglier. And so I just went back in, and like I said, the elemental guides could really help me with that. Because, for example, I think I mentioned unicorns, but dragons in particular. Dragons are actually a higher dimensional. Well, they exist in like 4th, 5th, 7th, and 12th dimensions, at 9th as well. And they are ascended animals. They're no longer physical, or they can be transdimensional, meaning they could physicalize if they wanted to, but they can really help us with that dense energy. So I've been working with dragons, my dragon guides lately. Dense energy being like that anxiety that I've been carrying and using, it's just like weighing me down. And they've been helping me to transmute it. It's been amazing. And it's no surprise, like you say, it's falling in this period of Mercury retrograde, which really exposes that stuff for us. It's a blessing.
Right. So I would say to you, actually, you have a lot of opportunities to tap into very quickly coming in the new year. And this was for you to kind of take that back seat, relax a little bit about it, and have an experience of knowing how to handle those things as they come forward. So that's really special. Also through the Earth Star chakra, which you've connected with too recently, when on the Bliss retreat, you guide us through Earth Star chakra, and it's about our bodies being safe, secure, and feeling the natural abundance of the Earth realm.
Yes.
So that our bodies are connected to the Earth. The Earth Star chakra connects vibrationally to the body, health, wellness, and abundance. If you ever notice that happy and healthy and wealthy always go together.
Right.
When you wish people, success, you wish them health and happiness, health and money. They always go together. So they are intricately linked through the earth realm, and the body is connected to our abundance, our safety, and our love, and feeling good about what we go forward to do. I think I'm rambling a little bit, but
not at all.
It's so I just find it really interesting that this earth energy has been so prominent lately.
And, Lauren and I both realized a little while ago that we both have, like, the head of our spirit team is Archangel Ariel. And we shared that with one another. And we both went through this period. This is before we even knew each other, of being like, what? That's not possible. What? That's crazy. For me, it made a lot of sense instantly in some ways, because, everyone says Ariel oversees nature and animals and wild nature. And, I'm a crazy cat lady, animal communicator and everything. But for me, it was about self-worth, which I'm sure yours was as well. Like, I can't be connected to an archangel. And I remember you saying that you were like, well, I like animals. I love animals, but I'm not like crazy about it like Tricia or something. Yeah, so that doesn't make any sense. I can't possibly be, connected to Archangel Ariel, but she told us individually, she also works with the sensitive human and the intuitive person and the light worker type, the empathic person. And now look at the work you're doing too about and you're a body expert and about grounding. So now, doesn't it make perfect sense? And it's really cool how we have totally different ways of working with Ariel energy.
Yeah. And it just goes to show that there's always to support us. Even when we don't realize it's there, that source, that God, however we refer to it, is always there supporting us no matter what we think. There's you're talking about your groundedness and connecting to the dragons. So even though you're going through this period of coming up with the anxiousness, and Mercury might cause some problems or make you have to slow down and recognize it, and it may feel annoying and frustrating, and even feel like something's happening to you that's negative, really, when you shift that perspective and you look at Mercury retrograde not as, it causes problems, but it helps you see where the problem is aligning to you, and you can add the love, the light, and see where the source of the problem is really coming from. And so it's not that these things are happening to you, so you have to drudge around and learn the lesson, but it's always a path of self-correcting.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's always a chance and always a support there to alert you to where you can go and step a little bit higher. And Mercury retrograde allows us that period. So we're not always going. It gives us the time to relax and feed ourselves the awareness of where we are, where we've come from, and where we want to go.
Oh, that's beautiful. You know, I forgot to say we are taking calls, and we do have some calls already. 323-524-2599. Do we have a call? Jarvis? Yeah, I thought I saw some calls come in. Would you like to take a call, Lauren?
Sure.
All right, great. Hello, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hi, my name is Diane.
Hi, Diane. We have Lauren Antuofermo on with us, spirit channel and intuitive wellness coach and expert in astrology. What's going on with you today, Diane?
I just would like to have, I guess, a reading.
Okay. What's on your mind, sweetheart? What would you like for us to look into?
Like some specific, I'm not sure. I have a lot of things, but how about,
What's on your mind the most?
I guess my son.
Okay. All right. So your son, you have some concerns about your son. Tell me how old your son is. Is he like 10, 11, something like that?
20. No, he's 21.
Oh, he's an adult.
Older.
Okay. All right. And Lauren, do you want to start? Do you want to feel into this, or do you want me to start?
Well, I feel like there was a discord there. There's a lot of discord. He's coming into feeling himself as an adult. There's going to be some time where he connects with feeling worried about his future and feeling like he doesn't have the assistance or the time or the energy that he needs to get to where he wants to go. And he's feeling very hard on himself and causing himself to be lack-based. So lack-based becomes a feeling of fear. I have to regurgitate all of my pain in order for me to get well again. I have to reach into where my anger is and express my anger, and somehow that will connect with me, and I'll go forward. And in anger protects me from what it is I'm going through, so I don't have to feel the pain of it. And so many people through this time period are connecting with why it is they're so sensitive and why it is nothing is working out for them. But the patience that a young adult has to have at this time and age is to figure out what it is they want to do and then go forward from there. Your son is suddenly going into dark areas of manhood, or feeling his way through frustration and anger and utilizing energies that aren't the healthiest. But what it looks like is that he will find his way because he is a sensitive, which means he's collecting mind, collecting his thoughts. What's his sign, by the way? Do you know his birthday?
Cancer, she said.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. Cancer. So he is a sensitive. Cancers are very emotional. They can be described as moody, but they are very family oriented. They want to feel belong to something. They want to feel part of something. If they're not giving, if they're not connecting with what it is they feel passionate about, they go into a depression, and they can have a very short temper, anger. They feel left out and they feel very alone. Sometimes they need really just reassurance. Cancers need a lot of reassurance. Where he is right now, I want you to feel that your being on top of him makes it more difficult for him to communicate to you. If you can allow him freedom to be where he is, he'll find a way to feel better. Because sometimes as parents, we want to go fix it, do something about it. I have to yell at you. I have to make you understand what you're doing is not right. And it often becomes the lack between mother and son or mother and child. When we come from a frequency of allowing them to be them and communicating that we are patient in their self-discovery, they come back with a frequency of trust and awareness of how they can receive that help from you, rather than coming away from you because they don't feel the trust is there to support only to criticize. Now that's from the child's point of view. Of course, from your point of view, you are assisting, you want the best for him, but it feels like there's a discord there for now. Be patient with his energy because it does come back around. He will find his way. As a matter of fact, he's a very determined young man. It just feels like he's in an angry state right now. And although that may seem difficult for you to understand, why would he be so angry? What has he got to be angry about? It's just the time period of his age, his maturation, and his alignment to what he wants to do seems very limited to him. So he's frustrated and he's angry. He will get out of this phase and he will connect to a higher energy. And so we say, trust that his connection to you is strong. He just needs to break away from the feeling, the monotony of worry. He wants to feel loved for where he is and what he is, and he will come around again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that all actually made sense. It was impressive. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And something that might help you, Diane, is as you pull yourself back into your own space, what that's going to help him to dig into his own growth then. You know, we can feel one another when we're supporting, but as like a parent or as, you know, this happens in partnerships as well, when we're in someone else's emotional space, like with our energy, then they can't feel their own voice, especially someone who's trying to grow, like a 21-year-old. So you pull back, it's actually going to cause him to dig in a little harder and experience his own growth and his sovereignty and his ability to become more stable. And if you're concerned, I feel like you're concerned about some things that he's experimenting in, it's okay. Again, if you pull back a little bit, that stuff will start to neutralize. He's not really under a lot of threat. And one thing that can support you as you pull yourself in a little bit and just allow the relationship to show up as it would, you know, he'll call, he'll show up, he'll be there. But if you pull your concern back is another way to look at it. And then you can just ask for Archangel Michael to send some protection to him and then just sit in faith that he is protected. And you don't have to do it yourself, that there are other cooperative components in the universe that will help with that. All right. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for calling. We hope to hear from you again. Many blessings to you and your family.
To you too.
Wonderful. And Lauren, you have just started to teach a couple of lessons in the Lightworkers Lab about little Lightworkers.
I did. I didn't even make that connection. How funny.
Little light workers, whether it's about parenting as a person who is an intuitive or a light worker, or raising children who themselves are intuitives, light workers. You know, we have the new children, and it seems like all of the children in the last 20 years are the new children, the ones who were very open to their spiritual experience, have very few of the filters that many of us in the previous generations came in with. Well, not you and me, Lauren. We came in seeing all the crap. Right? Going like, feeling it at least. But, you know, it's the energy of the new generations is really open to spirituality. And are they having to ground it even more? Is this the work that they're having to figure out, is how to be in the physical body? What is the general kind of experience with these new children?
Oh, I love that you asked that. Okay. So children are very sensitive to their emotional connection. And so we talk about empathic people who are HSPs, sensitives. And so I kind of all lump them into one category as human beings that are connected really vibrationally to the world.
Yes.
They are sensitive to the world around them. And when they're taught to ignore or downplay or to be disconnected to their emotions, they've lost the available light that they had to communicate with. You know, it's like a skill that they think is a detriment to them. Mm-hmm. It's something that they're not, you know, inviting in. So as parents, you know, a lot of us, the way we grew up too is, oh, shut up. Don't be mad. Don't be upset. Yeah. How dare you be frustrated? How dare you have anger? How dare you feel sad? You should be quiet. Mm-hmm. You don't have a right to be sad. You don't, you know, we expect a lot from our children that we don't even get from, you know, ourselves sometimes.
Right.
And so we disconnect them to their inner source, their inner knowing. What we can do now is to start talking to them about the emotional energy, about what it means to be, oh, that's such a beautiful picture, about what it means to be connected to their vibration. And then they get internal motivation. They get internally secure. And so they manifest quickly, and they use their sensibilities or their sensitivities to their advantage.
Yes.
Rather than seeing them as dependent on somebody else for their approval, they receive that approval from within. What feels right with my heart, what doesn't. What feels right for me at this time is to go ahead and talk about, I started trying to, that's weird. Let's go ahead and talk about children of light workers who are also coming into the frequency of love. Love is the vibrational reality of their energy. When they don't feel supported, loved, connected, and compassionate, they often go south. Because if they're not supported by the love energy of which they know to be true, children know love. They speak it, they know it, they have it. There's no regurgitation of fear when they're born. They learn that. And when we communicate with little light workers or children who are beginning to understand that love works, love is connected, love is compassionate, they don't understand the world we live in. When we tell them they're wrong, they're weak, they're oversensitive, they're too much, they're too far out of the realm of learning because they can't pay attention, we have to adjust our compassion in a way that leads them to understanding their self-awareness rather than adjusting to what everybody's expectations are. So, in other words, in this fast-paced energy, we'll talk about Aquarius age. Aquarius age, we're just on the cusp of, really, is a faster-paced awareness. Aquarius is an sign. It's very quick thinking. It's future thinking. So we are creating abundantly even more technology, communication, all of these things coming quicker. Technology, development. It is the new reality. And when we tell them they're wrong for being who they are and what they want, we give them the false sense that they are wrong as a being. They know vibration better than we do. They know the new generation and the new energies better than the older generations. But they're being told they're lazy, they're not good enough, they're wrong for wanting, they're selfish. And in other words, what we have to teach them is to, yes, be patient. Teach them how to work in this fast-paced energy. Rather than seeing limitations everywhere, show them how to be internally motivated rather than communicating with other people's expectations. When you're internally motivated, you do things on your own accord. And so you don't ever need somebody to tell you what's right and wrong. You trust that love leads you, not fear.
Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you for that message. That's really amazing. And I heard in there, rather than extending harsh expectations, to extend more compassion, because it's true. It's interesting when, the millennials, like you said, are accused of being lazy, but I think it's a remembrance of the fact that life is supposed to be easy and fun. You know what I mean? But the slower moving, the denser vibration of society and what we have collected together is different than that. And so we have to figure out how to, again, bring together that high vibrational energy into the denser energy, because that is what you selected to do. Proof being that you're here in a physical body on a physical earth with the particular society. Your soul knew what you were being dispatched into. So,
yeah,
so bridging that gap.
I'm sorry.
No, I just said bridging that gap.
Yes. So the energy of the earth realm raises its vibrational awareness through that connection of people holding more light. And the way to hold more light is to be grounded. And so it seems difficult to make that connection, but when you're grounded, you can consistently hold a higher vibrational reality. And so you become 3D as a human, but you experience 5D in the physical realm by the way you are connected to energy.
Yes.
And so when we communicate with our children, we're communicating in a new way. We're communicating is, what is it that you want? And then relax about it and feel good with where you are.
Yes.
The patience factor is often an issue. I don't have patience to get to where I want to go. But the feeling of that is because we have depended on acceptance and approval for what it is that we want. If we get that, we'll be approved of, we'll be accepted, we'll be loved. If we have that, we'll be connected to desires and we'll be desirable. And so we'll connect to people wanting us and feeling good about us. All anybody ever wants to know is, do I feel good to you? And do I feel good where I am? And so the wanting is an access point to feeling that. I have this idea of what I want to do, what I want to be, how I have my money connected to me, how I have my job connected to me, how I have people in my life connected to me. And these are all values, but what's missing is the energy of knowing it's feeling good for you to have it rather than needing it in order to avoid punishment, cruelty, rejection, pain, frustration. So when you go from the perspective that God is supportive of all humanity, you don't feel the need to prove yourself. You see the need to begin by asking, what is it that I desire? And the desire comes about with love, not need, not disguising a feeling of lack is, I want this because it'll make me feel good. But feeling good brings you to what it is you desire. It's the opposite.
Right. You know, what example comes to mind for me there as we're talking about internal motivation as opposed to being externally focused about, you know, placing the authority and the concern and the need about what an external acceptance would be. The example that comes to mind for me is, you know, you're an intuitive wellness coach. You work. What is your degree? Is physical? I forget.
Exercise physiology.
Exercise physiology. So, is it not true as an exercise physiologist that the wanting to get in shape or wanting to lose weight, even that when the motivation for that is just so that people will think you're cute, that's not really sustainable. It's usually not strong enough. And it's certainly, even if you do kind of go with that for a while, it usually isn't sustainable. But the stronger motivation is wanting to be healthy and wanting to look good and feel good yourself, even if it is looking cute to yourself. But right, if it's all externally focused and that's the goal, it's just not strong enough. It's not going to root. It's not going to ground into the motivation won't be grounded because it isn't a desire that you feel in your heart.
Yes. And a lot of times the reason why people will gain the weight back or go off track or feel like it's never enough is because they start to feel good. So that's why most people, when they start a new program, they start something, they feel really great. They feel motivated. It feels awesome. They lose the weight and then they start to become fearful of not losing the weight, of not being thin, of not being healthy. And so instead of doing things because they enjoyed the experience of it, I was working out, I was feeling good, I feel proud of myself, I feel great in these clothes, I feel good about who I am and what I look like. It's good to feel good about what you look like. Yeah. It doesn't have to be we have varying degrees of vanity, but when it comes from an external motivation, like you're talking about, it never happens. You just usually get depressed or feel bad about it. When it comes from the pressure to be something, it can work. Sometimes pressure works, right? We have a pressure to be something, but eventually it takes its toll.
It's not sustainable.
Unless the motivation is happy. Because once you start doing things, I have to do it to prevent getting fat. I have to do it to prevent from gaining weight. I have to do it to prevent illness. You'll wind up with an illness. There's people in the exercise industry, in the health industry, girl, even though they look good, they've got a ton of issues. And they're on it. Like there's a lot of dirty secrets in the health and wellness industry that you don't see. And you think because somebody's overweight, they're unhealthy. But there's many people in the exercise and fitness industry that are just as unhealthy, but the way they look is deceiving. But the point being is that the people who continue to do it because it makes them feel good, and they are healthy. Right. The people who become fearful of not being that looking great, of not having the experience of people ogling them, or you know what I mean? Like, or not. You're doing everything to prevent disease. If you're doing something for health, it feels great. If you're doing something to prevent disease, it kind of feels annoying, frustrating, and fearful. And that frustration will always be the determining factor of how something affects you.
And that can all be translated right to any other part of life. If it is if you want to find your partner, you don't have a relationship, and you are seeking a partner because you want to avoid being alone, rather than sharing and connecting with someone. You want a career so that you can appear to be successful, or you can avoid poverty. These are the lower vibrating things that are not motivating. This is not the motivational, because it's not love, which is what the whole topic is about, that which is derived in the heart. And the heart is your oracle for love, and will always tell you how to be motivated with love, by love, through love, to love.
Yes.
Lauren, can you explain, because I know that sometimes we say words like you need to ground yourself. We say phrases like that. And every now and again, when someone is a bit new to this kind of talk, even though it's kind of resounding in their heart and mind, little phrases like that, we know what it means. What does that mean to ground yourself? How can a person ground themselves? I don't know if you would describe it by some techniques or by
I love
concept.
that, because I'm all about the simplicity.
Yeah.
The KISS principle: keep it simple, stupid.
Right. Yes.
So I love that. And so when we talk about grounding, we're really just talking about feeling good in the body and as a human being, experiencing creation, experiencing life. Groundedness means you have relationships that feel good. When you're grounded, you don't have to be meditating 24 hours a day. You actually enjoy your life. When you're grounded, you do things out of pleasure. When you're grounded, you feel healthy, because you're doing from a place, meaning that you're not in the future, not always trying to predict death and what could go wrong. You're not in the past thinking, oh, I've made so many mistakes, I've made so many difficult choices, now I have to prevent what I've done in the past by being better than who I was. You're grounded in the now moment. And so even if we think of roots, meditate and for the other side, for people who do a lot of grounding, meditation grounding, light workers can go off the other way and feel always wanting to be in the upper chakras, kind of like you said with signs and wonders, and not really apply and integrate those spiritual concepts into having a human life that is pleasurable. Yes. We deny ourselves pleasure because we feel guilty, shame, or suffering about it, where suffering is the key. Groundedness is being in a body and loving the human experience. It really is that simple.
Yes.
It's feeling good about who you are. And that's groundedness.
And what is so beautiful about that is I'm just seeing, as I said, the bringing in of the higher experience with the grounded experience, and how the bringing that together is the intense work. And what is at the center of our body even is our heart, not just our physical heart, but the energetic center of our heart. And it is the apex of high spiritual experience and the physical experience, the grounded experience. How beautiful is that? And that is what you see people who may not be into the woo-woo stuff that you and I are, but they're walking around in the world happy as can be, with the most beautiful skin you've ever seen, and the kindest word to give, and a beautiful life, whether they have $1 million or $2. And it's because they are in their heart, and they are living from compassion and love and celebration of life, all of the components of life, which is the physical body and the physical experience and connecting with humans, as well as probably their prayer life or something else that they, it may not be specifically that, but something else that is their feeling, their high spiritual feeling, and that exercise that they definitely have in their lives.
I'm right there with you. That's what I've been teaching, what's been coming through when I'm connecting with my students and my clients, especially in the Body of Light course. We've been going through every chakra. And the thing is, I've been taught and teaching from my guides that the heart is the reason every other chakra gets aligned.
Oh, yes.
You can spend a lot of time on all the chakras or issues. For those that aren't familiar with the chakras, like issues, is it a gut instinct, like all your other issues. And when you communicate with the heart, you come into alignment. And no matter what it is, when you come from love, and compassion, really, it balances out. You can have a blown open crown chakra but it doesn't mean that what you're getting is love if the heart chakra isn't in balance, if it's not coming from love.
Yes.
You can be very grounded, and sometimes groundedness is seen as a negative thing. I'm too grounded. If you're too serious or too critical or too, you can be overly grounded. When you're coming from love, you see everything from that access point. So I've been teaching from the fear paradigm or the love paradigm. Fear paradigm asks, what am I doing wrong and how can I fix it? Love paradigm says, where can I give myself more love? Where is the pain coming from and how can I love myself back to health?
Yes.
Fear paradigm says, I don't want to be here. Living on earth is too much pain. There's too much pain to take. I shouldn't be here. I have to sacrifice for other people. I have to give of myself until I'm drained. That's fear paradigm. In order to be accepted, in order to do my work, I must suffer. In order to be light being, I must suffer first. That's fear paradigm. Love paradigm says, I am compassionate to the feelings that I have, so I can discover the beliefs that keep me from feeling love for myself. Love paradigm says, I am here to be love. I am here to receive love. I am here to experience joy. Pain is a frequency. It's a frequency of knowing what is causing you pain. We often look to the pain and say, get rid of the pain, do something about the pain, numb the pain, get away from the pain. Anger against the pain, suffering comes after pain has been ignored for too long. When we look at the pain with compassion, we don't do it with blame. We do it with love. Love says, what is causing this pain and how can I love myself enough to shift whatever it is that is causing me pain? May it a belief, a relationship, whatever it is. Love says, how can I assist? Compassion says, how can I assist? When you look at somebody with compassion, you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. You're uplifting them. When you look at criticism, which most of us do for ourselves, it's a fear paradigm. What am I doing wrong? How can I fix it?
Yes.
And that's a fear paradigm.
Truth. Oh, so true. We are just about out of time, but I appreciate that message. No, I love that message. Fear or love, that is the only decision we ever have to make, fear or love. The world tells us that it's way more complex than that. It's actually that easy. Millions of times a day, but yes, fear or love. I appreciate that, Lauren. Beautiful. Lauren, please do tell everyone how they can get in touch with you for your Body of Light course or anything else that you are offering.
Awesome. Thank you. So you can go to my website, soulfultransformations.com. You can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com /soulful transformations. I do one-on-one coaching and I do one-on-one channeled readings. So in the readings, there's also a healing energy because we kind of bring through and shift the vibration of where you are and also connect with psychic intuitive information. If you're interested, I have a group coaching course. I only have 20 spots for this because it's very intensive. It's a 6-week course. The second installment starts January 15th, and you get the experience of a one-on-one coach as well as the group support. We meet on Zoom, so it's an in-person kind of support. You get lessons. It's structured, so it's like a class. You can do some of it on your own. And then we have group discussions, and we also have one-on-one office hours. So we get to you individually as a group and as on your own. So you have the benefits of a class, a coach, and the group support.
Amazing.
I really, really love it. It's been exciting. I've been so connected with the people that are in my course now. So if you're interested, just send me an IM or go to Facebook and look at my website. There's plenty of information there. And now I'm babbling. I'm sorry.
That's wonderful. Yes, it is a very transformative course. I highly recommend all of Lauren's work. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Lauren Antuofermo, spirit channel and intuitive wellness coach. And again, I want to remind you to please go to my website to sign up for my class, meet and work with your elemental guides, triciacarcharm.com/elementals. And also please like, subscribe, share, comment. However you're experiencing this show, I would appreciate you subscribing, and thank you for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.